Pinoy.
Pinoy ka, buo ang iyong loob. Kaya kaibigan, mas piliin mo laging gawin ang tama. Mas piliin natin laging gawin kung ano yung mas makakabuti sa ating sarili, sa ating pamilya, at sa ating bansa. Mahalin po natin ang ating minamahal na Pilipinas. Atin po ito.
Makinig, makilahok at sumama sa talastasan dahil ang programang ito ay para sa iyo. Winner ka, Pinoy!
At kaibigan, sikapin nating maging isang tunay na Pilipino sa isip, sa salita, at sa gawa. Kasi bakit? Dahil winner ka, kaibigan. Winner ka, Pinoy.
Winner ka, Pinoy! Kada araw ng linggo, alas 11 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali. Dito lamang sa DZXL 558. DZXL 558 RMN Manila. Extra large sa balita at komentaryo. Extra large sa tugtugan at extra large sa serbisyo publiko. Kamusta na ang inyong lungsod, lalawigan at buong probinsya? Ano-ano na ang mga ginagawang proyekto at programa ng ating mga boss? Sasagutin yan sa Meet the Boss with Ellie Saludar. Meet the Boss sa Radyo Trabaho. Boss, ayos! Meet the Boss with Ellie Saludar sa Radyo Trabaho.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Sa ngalan po ni Radyoman Ellie Saludar sa ating po namang Meet the Boss. Ayan, tapasamantala lang po tayo humahalili ang inyong Radyoman Jenny Pahilaga ngayong Miyerkules at 12 na po sa buwan ng Disyembre. Ano? Ayan, napakabilis naman ng araw talaga mga kasama. 2018 at tayo muna dadako ngayon sa Pag-asa. Alamin natin muna pinakahuling tayahan ng panahon. Nandiyan na po si Miss Lani Bitagon, ang ating pong weather forecaster ng Pag-asa.
Whether dry or wet, dapat ikaw ay prepared. Narito ang weather update.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Miss Lani Bitagon.
Magandang umaga po, Ma'am Jenny, at sa lahat po ng ating tagapakinig. Northeast monsoon nga po ang nakakaapekto sa Northern Luzon. Dahil po dyan, ang Batanes po at Babuyan Group of Islands ay makakaranas ng cloudy skies with light rains. Ang Ilocos region naman po, ang CAR at ang natitirang bahagi ng Cagayan Valley ay makakaranas ng partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains. Sa Metro Manila naman po at nalalabing bahagi ng bansa, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers. Meron po tayong gale warning ngayon na nakataas sa northern seaboards ng northern Luzon, kasama na rin po ang western seaboard ng northern Luzon. Kasama po ang Batanes, Calayan, Babuyan, Cagayan, northern coast ng Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, western coast ng Ilocos Norte at La Union po. Dahil po dyan, pinapayuhan po natin ang ating mga kababayan na mangingisda at ang may mga maliliit na sasakyang pangdagat na wag po munang pumalaot dahil po sa malalaking alon po. Yan lamang po ang latest mula dito sa Pag-asa Weather Forecasting.
So, Miss Lani,
yes,
makakaasa tayo ng magandang panahon this weekend.
Yes po.
Iyon, sa Metro Manila.
Fair weather po tayo kahit paano. Maliban lamang po sa mga isolated na po natin, thunderstorms po.
Okay, maraming salamat.
Yes po, thank you.
Ayan, si Miss Lani Bitagon po mula sa bahagi ng Pag-asa.
Whether dry or wet, dapat ikaw ay prepared. Narito ang weather update.
Eto naman, mula Pag-asa, dumako naman tayo sa lagay ng trapiko sa mga kakalsadahan sa mga oras na ito. Nakakaranas na ba tayo ng traffic? Kanina, papunta ako dito sa ating pong radio station sa DZXL. Okay naman, medyo maganda-ganda naman ang traffic. Sige, si Sir JC Santo Domingo mula sa MMDA Metro Base.
MMDA Traffic Update.
Sir JC, magandang umaga sa'yo.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Jenny, at sa inyo mga magaling DZXL. Alagay ng ating kalsadahan, ng ating EDSA southbound. Saan pa rin pong patuloy na masikip na usad ng mga daloy ng mga sakyan. Dito po sa may kahabaan ng Timog, patungo po yan ng EDSA Rochester. Samantalang Ortigas MRT, patungo po yan ng Bonnie Avenue, ay patuloy pa rin po maras ang ating mga motorista na mabagal ang usad na madaloy ng mga sasakyan. Samantalang ating area ng Guadalupe, patungo po ng Buendia, Makati, light to moderate traffic po maranasan ng ating mga motorista dyan. Yung ating EDSA northbound mula rito sa may Magallanes, patungo po dito sa may area ng Kalayaan Avenue, asahan pa rin po mabagal ang usad na madaloy ng mga sasakyan na maranasan ng ating mga motorista dyan. At ganoon na rin po yung ating Gateway Aguinaldo, patungo po yan ng EDSA Santola, Biserano, U-turn slot. Yung ating C5 Katipunan southbound, asahan na po nagkakaroon pa rin po tayo ng moderate to heavy traffic dito po sa may area ng JS Caler, patungo po dito sa may area ng Biserano at ganoon na rin po yung kahabaan ng Green Meadows natin, patungo naman po dito sa may area ng Bagong Ilog at samantalang ating Kalayaan Avenue, papasok naman po yan ng Fort Bonifacio Global City ay patuloy pa rin po maarasyan ng mabagal na daloy ng mga sasakyan. Samantalang ating northbound na C5 mula Leve Mariano Avenue going to C5 Market, patuloy pa rin po tayo makakaras sa moderate traffic dyan at ganoon na rin po Ateneo natin magmula Gate 1 going to Miriam College. At paalala muli, ngayong araw po ng Miyerkules, ending number coding natin, nagtatapos siya sa number 5 and 6. At yan po muna, traffic update mula sa tanggapan ng MMDA Metro Base. Ito po nyo lingkod, JC Santo Domingo.
MMDA Traffic Update.
Maraming salamat, Mr. JC Santo Domingo, sa bahagi po naman ng MMDA. Mga kasama, mamaya pala, paalala po natin, sa ngalan po ni Radyoman Eli Saludar, ating Meet the Boss, ay SSS pala tayo mamaya sa Sentro Serbisyo. At kung meron kayong mga nais ilapit mamaya sa SSS, nako talaga naman ay siksik, liglig, umaapaw ang ating mga tawag at pag-inquire, pag alam po ng kanilang mga pension, ng kanilang mga contributions sa bahagi po naman ng SSS kapag Miyerkules. So mamaya po yan, abangan ninyo ha. At yan po sa Sentro Serbisyo ni Radyoman Eli Saludar, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga. Ngayon muna, tayo ay Meet the Boss, kung saan tayo po'y nakikipag-ugnayan din po sa ating mga kababayan, hinggil po naman syempre sa mga maiinit na issue at yung ating pong peso na kung saan kasi ngayon ay buwan na ng Disyembre, marami na nakatapos na ng kanilang mga mega job fair, At natutukan po natin yan, yung mga opening jobs po nila dyan at yung kanilang mga mega job fair for this year 2018. And sila po ay muling magbubukas ng kanilang programa sa mga jobs fair po nila by January of 2019. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin yan, wala na silang mega job fair. Pwede pa rin kayong lumapit sa inyong mga peso office, sa inyong mga tanggapan ng peso sa inyong mga lungsod, at meron pa rin silang mga ipinagkakaloob na mga opening jobs, mga trabaho kung saan po ay pwede kayong mag-apply, lalo papasok ang taong 2019, yung mga gusto pong makapagtrabaho. Kaya ang peso ay naging katuwang po natin for how many months for this year 2018. And of course, we're looking forward po for the 2019. Kasama pa rin naman natin sila, magbibigay po ng mga trabaho sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga kasama. Dito rin po sa DZXL, yan. Pwede kayong magpunta at makinig kung ano po yung mga job o job openings natin, at pwede kayong mag-apply sa atin dito sa DZXL sa 4th floor ng Guadalupe Commercial Complex sa Makati City lang po kami. Napakalapit po. Nasa Guadalupe, Makati Station lang tayo ng MRT. Ito muna, dapuan muna natin ang balita na ating mga masasipag na radyoman mula sa labas. Unahin natin ngayon ang nagaganap po na martial law hearing mula dyan sa Kamara. Nariyan po ating kasamang sa Excel Radyoman Sais, Conde Batak. Magandang umaga sa iyo, Radyoman Sais, Conde Batak. Kumusta dyan sa hearing ngayon nagaganap hinggil sa martial law? Yan. Okay. Sige, mamaya-maya. Unahin na natin si Radyoman 9 DK Zarate. Mga katutubong nagpunta raw po sa Manila, sinagip ng PNP at DSWD. Alam mo, Radyoman DK, ito talaga taon-taon, ang dami-dami nito. Kahapon, nakausap ni Radyoman Eli Saludar si General Eliazar ng NCRPO. At ngayon, ang namumroblema dyan, nakaatang dyan ng ang tungkulin dyan sa mga nagpupunta sa Maynila ng mga katutubot nanghihingi ng regalo ay ang DSWD nga, pati PNP. Sige, alamin natin, XL Radyoman 9 DK Zarate.
Mga nasa 150 mga katutubong palaboy sa kalsada dito sa Quezon City ang nasa gip ng Department of Social Welfare and Development o DSWD maging ang PNP. Yan ay simula kanina madaling araw. Nabatid na 102 ang mga AITA at mga higit nasa 4 na po naman ang badyaw ang dinala ng mga elemento ng Quezon City Police District at ng Station 10 at DSWD. Ang mga ito ay umano'y nagkakalat dito sa lungsod ng Quezon upang mamaskol sa mga pasahero. Ayon sa mga otoridad, posibleng may sindikato sa likod ng nasabing pangingi ng pera ng mga nasabing individual. Tuwing sila ay namamasko kung saan dinala sila rito sa Metro Manila. Samantala nasa itong mga AITA at badyaw ay dinala muna sa temporary shelter sa Mandaluyong City bago isaayos ang kanilang pagbalik sa kanilang mga probinsya.
Nako, Radyoman DK. Radyoman DK. Tatakas din yata yung mga yan.
Ayun, mahirapan sila sa pagtakas. Pero kapag yung gagamitin yung proseso nila, actually yung iba, gusto talaga magpahuli kasi dun sa temporary shelter. May maayos silang tutulugan at makakain din sila at saka may mga buwibisita rin doon.
Nagregalo.
Ng activities. May mga activities sila ron. Pero yung iba naman, tumatagal lamang ng ilang araw, mga 5 araw lang. Nakakauwi na, kunyari, pero babalik ulit dito.
Yun nga, bantayan ng PNP.
Dahil isa yung sa may taga-Tarlac lang yung iba, 132 pesos lang yung pamasahe. Pag umuwi sila ron, pagbalik nila rito, 132 pesos lang pamasahe nila.
Totoo.
Dito na agad ulit sila.
Tama yun. Gusto nila ng maraming regalo.
Tama.
Okay, alright, DK?
Yan ang report, DK Zarate, Tatak RMN DCXL 550.
Maraming salamat, XL Radyoman 9 DK Zarate. Ito na po yung ating sinasabi kanina. Mula po dyan sa bahagi ng Kamara sa situation na po tayo sa joint session ng Kamara sa martial law. XL Radyoman 6, Conde Batak.
Kasamang Jen, nagsimula na nga itong joint session ng Senado at Kamara para sa pag-aproba sa muling sa request ng Palasyo ng Malacanang, and at the same time yung AFP and PNP na extend pa ng 1 taon mula January 1 hanggang December 31, 2019 itong martial law at suspension ng writ of habeas corpus. Sa parehong panig ng Kamara at Senado ay wala namang tumututol pero magkakaroon pa ng interpellation kasamang Jen o yung pagtatanong ng ilang mga kongresista para ma-justify nga itong pagpapalawig pa sa martial law sa partikular dyan sa Mindanao. Pakinggan muna natin itong si Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea kaugnay doon sa liham o yung request na ng Pangulo noong December 6 na pagpapalawig pa ng 1 taon sa batas militar sa Mindanao. Pakinggan natin.
The implementation of martial law to address this current predicament. The communist terrorist groups composed of the Communist Party of the Philippines, the National Democratic Front, and the New People's Army have carried on their armed struggle as part of their political end to overthrow this government and supplant the same with communist rule. They commit armed hostilities against the people and display blatant, continuous, and resolute defiance against the duly constituted government authorities. To date, Mindanao still remains the hotbed of communist insurgency in the country. We are at the cusp of ending rebellion in Mindanao. Now more than ever, we cannot afford to show our enemies a moment of weakness in our resolve to defeat them. we cannot falter or else we lose our hard-earned progress. Thus, we call upon Congress to allow the further extension of Proclamation number 216 to assist the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine National Police, and all other enforcement agencies to put a decisive end to this ongoing rebellion and thereby remove a long-standing obstacle to the full rehabilitation and development of Mindanao. If we allow these terrorist groups and rebels to regroup, this government will not be able to function fully. Basic services to the people will continuously be hindered, and the safety of the general public will remain to be under constant threat. Ladies and gentlemen of the Congress, with me today are the Martial Law Administrator, the Martial Law Implementer, and the PNP Chief to provide you with more detailed information on the current situation in Mindanao. I leave it to their sound discretion if they wish to request an executive session, depending on the sensitivity of classified nature of the information to be disclosed. Other members of the Cabinet, namely the Secretary of Justice, the Secretary of Public Works, the Secretary of National Defense, the Secretary of Department of Interior and Local Government, the Secretary of Transportation, Armed Forces, the newly appointed Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, PNP Chief Albayalde, and other members of the Cabinet and other heads of agencies, particularly those heading offices concerned in restoring peace and order in Mindanao and rehabilitating areas affected by rebellion, are also present this morning to act as resource person. It is my hope that as you listen to their presentation and their responses to your questions, you will be assured that the current martial law in Mindanao is being implemented in a very disciplined way, free from abuses and always abiding by the rule of law. Before I turn over the floor to my colleagues, I would like to thank on behalf of the President all the members of the Senate and House of Representatives who have assembled here today in a special joint session to deliberate and vote on the President's call to extend Proclamation number 216. In your deliberation today, I implore each one of you to keep in your hearts and minds our brothers and sisters in Mindanao, whose lives and safety are and will always be among the top priorities of our government. From those living far away from where fighting is taking place, it is easy and even convenient to think that there is no ongoing rebellion in Mindanao. Please do not fall into this trap, because the people of Mindanao deserve to experience the same peace and security that we in these hallowed halls of Congress feel. Let us not falter in our quest for peace. We owe it to the people of Mindanao. We owe it to the Filipino people. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang mamamayang Pilipino. Thank you, sir.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, on the part of the Senate, we'd like to recognize the distinguished Minority Floor Leader, Senator Franklin Drilon, to interpolate the resource person.
Minority Leader, Senator Franklin Drilon is recognized on the part of the Senate.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Madam Speaker, good morning. Mr. President, Madam Speaker, made of record at the start of today's session is the letter of His Excellency President Duterte requesting Congress to authorize the further extension of martial law and the suspension of privilege of habeas corpus in Mindanao, which took effect pursuant to Proclamation 216. My first question, Mr. President, The justification for the extension of Proclamation 216 are all contained in this letter of December 6, 2016. The question is addressed to the resource person, Secretary Medialdea, Mr. President.
Ano? Ang question is, lahat ba na...
Executive Secretary, you may respond.
Those are the basic information that we gave in the letter, Mr. Yes, President. Since this is the information is the basic information used to justify the extension of the martial law as requested by His Excellency the President. No other justification is found in, other than those found in his letter, would be cited to justify the extension of martial law.
Mr. Speaker, we presented that in the earlier briefings with members of the Senate and members of the House of Representatives.
Yes. In fact, other than those which were submitted during the executive briefing, there is no other detailed report of the subsisting rebellion that is asserted to be submitted to this Congress, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
4 of this letter.
the resource persons are here to provide other details which you may wish to ask, Mr. President.
All right. Mr. President, we can only rely on the letter that is sent to this chamber on the justification for the extension. And let me summarize for the record, for the easy understanding of the public, the grounds. First, it is cited that the Abu Sayyaf group, the Bangsamoro Islamic Federation fighters, the Dawla Islamiyah, and other terrorist groups seek to promote global rebellion and continue to defy government by perpetrating hostile activities. That's the first ground. The second ground is that the Dawla, I hope I pronounce it correctly, the Dawla Islamiyah forces continue to pursue by furthering the conduct of their radicalized activities and continuing to recruit new members in the Muslim communities. The third ground is the communist terrorist group has publicly declared its intention to seize political power. And the communist rule took advantage and likewise posed serious agree with me that the Supreme Court in that case declared that in upholding Proclamation 216 ruled that the Constitution requires actual of the Philippines' sovereignty over this territory. Would the good secretary agree? there is nothing in these four grounds cited that shows actual uprising, actual rebellion, actual armed uprising. The revised penal code imposes as elements for the declaration of for punishing the act of rebellion the element that there must be an armed actual uprising for the purpose of removing sovereignty over certain territories of the Philippines. There is nothing in these four grounds that shows that there is an actual uprising for the purpose of removing from the allegiance of the Philippine government the territory of the Philippines or any part thereof. And I highlight the fact that what this Constitution requires, as ruled by the Supreme Court, is actual armed uprising for the purpose of removing from the allegiance of the government the territory of the Philippines or any part thereof.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the actual commission of acts are stated in pages 3 and 4 of the President's letter to the Secretary, to the Senate President, and to the Secretary, Speaker of the House.
We have enumerated those four grounds, and in fact, in the letter itself, it states that the said four grounds are, in general terms, describe the so-called continuing rebellion. It is our respectful submission that there is no ground, there is no actual armed uprising that is taking place in Mindanao to justify the extension of martial law. We must recall that Proclamation 216 was premised on the siege of Marawi. On the siege of Marawi. And in the briefing of the Department of National Defense.
Your Honor, the Minority Leader, will you please wind up?
Yes.
The limit is 3. We have extended the...
Thank you very much. Just this last question. I forgot already my question because of the interruption. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
I apologize for that, but we just have to follow.
But, in fact...
Senator Bamakino is donating his 3 minutes to you, so you may continue. You are 7 minutes already.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, Senator Pangilinan, so you have 2 minutes more.
In the briefing yesterday, Mr. President, the Secretary of National Defense said the continued extension of martial law is a war, psychological war. It is not, there was nothing there that was stated that the continued of martial law to quell an armed uprising. The local terrorist group was classified by the armed forces as merely, and I quote this, merely a peace and order problem today. That was the briefing we got yesterday. We must remember that martial law is the highest form of self-preservation. It cannot be used, it cannot be the normal norm. It cannot be the norm. It is the highest form of self-preservation. Your statements were made yesterday that martial law makes governance more effective. Mr. President, these are very disturbing thoughts. These are very disturbing conclusions. We can make martial law as an instrument to make governance more effective. That was never the intention of our framers. There is therefore, Mr. President, in the letter of the President dated December 6, 2017, and in any of the briefings, was there ever a citation that there is an actual armed uprising for the purpose of removing the sovereignty of the government or of the country over any part of our territory? It is for this reason, Mr. President, and that we believe that there is no factual basis as defined by the Supreme Court in the case involving no less than our resource speaker here, Secretary Mijaldea, when the Supreme Court very clearly outlined what the justification of martial law should be. For rebellion to exist, there must be a public uprising and taking up of arms against the government for the purpose of removing allegiance to the government and its laws. None exist at this point to justify the extension of martial law. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Majority Leader. The House Majority Leader.
Mr. President, Madam Speaker, I move that to recognize the Honorable Edsel Lagman to have the floor for his interpellation.
Any objections? Hearing none, motion is approved. Honorable Lagman is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Senior Deputy Majority Leader, these questions are addressed to the Executive Secretary and other resource persons. What is being extended again is Proclamation number 216, which originally declared the imposition of martial law and the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus in Mindanao. Is that correct? Yes.
That is correct, Congressman.
Okay. But Proclamation number 216 has become functus officio and cannot be anymore legally and constitutionally extended because no less than President Duterte on October 27, 2017 announced the liberation of Marawi City from terrorists and their influence, and subsequently Martial Law Administrator Secretary Lorenzan announced the cessation of combat operations. Would you recall this?
Yes, sir. That is with respect to the main battle area in Marawi, sir.
Okay. But principally, that was the anchorage for the declaration of martial law.
One of them, sir.
That was the principal anchorage. Now, you said that there are remnants of the terrorist groups. But these remnants are quixotic residues, unable to revive a vanquished rebellion or launch a new one. May we know what is the total number of these so-called remnants?
May I refer you to the Armed Forces Chief of Staff or the Secretary of National Defense?
Your Honor, sir, based on the current our PSR, sir, the number of the ASG at this point is numbers about 424 with 254 firearms. The BIFF 264 with 254 firearms, Daula Islamia 111 with 91 firearms, and the Communist Terrorist Group 1,636, or a total of 2,435, Your Honor.
And what are the basis for those figures?
It's the deliberation, Your Honor, by the Joint Intelligence Community, Your Honor.
May we be furnished copies of those data?
Yes, Your Honor.
When do we expect to get those data?
We will provide it immediately, Your Honor.
Thank you. To get national budget for a one-year extension of martial law and the suspension of the writ in Mindanao.
Is appropriated in the 2019 proposed
None, Your Honor.
national budget for a one-year extension of martial law?
From January 1, 2018 up to today, December 12, 2018, how many arrests have been made in Mindanao related to the extension of martial law?
Up to today, December 12, 2018. How many
140, Your Honor.
140.
143.
143. And for what crimes or offenses were the arrests made?
Rebellion and other crimes, Your Honor.
143.
May we know
for what crimes
how
or
many of
offenses
those arrested
were the arrests made?
are charged in court with rebellion?
May we know how many of those arrested are charged in court with rebellion?
Charge ng rebellion.
Special coverage.
Hindi, anong charges? Hindi, yung charge with rebellion.
Coverage.
Sabi ko na, divide the data. Ang gano'n charge ako.
Now, can we get a submission under oath
Yes, Your Honor.
of the 143 arrested persons who are now charged in court with rebellion, and in what courts are they pending, and the status of said cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
It should be under oath, Mr. President, Madam Speaker. And when do we get that statement under oath?
And the status
As soon as possible, Your Honor.
What is as soon as possible?
it should be under oath.
Tomorrow, Your Honor.
Tomorrow.
Madam Speaker. And when do we get
What was the growth rate in Mindanao as of the first quarter of 2018, starting from January 1, 2018?
what was the growth rate?
Sir, for 2018, sir, I was informed the data of the NEDA has not yet been, this will be released by April of next year. What we have is the data of 2017.
No.
For Davao region.
Excuse me, I am not asking for 2017. I am asking for 2018, which is the coverage of the extension.
Yes, sir. We have not yet been given by the National Economic Development Authority on the data for 2018, Your Honor.
What is this growth rate in Mindanao as of the fourth quarter what was the poverty incidence in Mindanao as of the first quarter of
from October 1, 2018 up to the present?
to the development and growth in Mindanao. But how can this be validated when there is no empirical data on which this claim can be anchored? Let me go to my next question. Is extortion a ground for extension of martial law in Mindanao?
No, Your Honor.
Is corruption a ground for extension of martial law in Mindanao?
No, Your Honor, unless it is in pursuit of rebellion.
Okay. Is lawlessness a ground for extension of martial law in Mindanao?
Honorable Lagman, please be reminded of the time. Kindly wrap up, please.
Yes, but
thank you.
There are some members of the House who are donating their time.
Honorable Belmonte and Honorable Erice are donating their time to you.
Thank you for those donations.
So you have
and I
3 minutes.
accept the donation to make it effective.
Another volunteer, Honorable Bagao. So you have 5 minutes more.
I think that would be sufficient, Madam Speaker. What is the answer to my last question?
On your question, Congressman, if lawlessness is a cause for declaration of martial law or extension, yes, if they are used to pursue rebellion.
But lawlessness per se.
But lawlessness per se is not a ground under the Constitution.
Is that correct?
Depending on the level.
Is that correct?
Depending on the level of lawlessness, Your Honor. If they are used to commit rebellion, then they are a reason for their grounds.
Is terrorism
a ground for extension of martial law in Mindanao?
Yes, Your Honor. If they are tied up with rebellion, which what they did in Marawi, and what they are now doing also in other parts of Mindanao, such as Sulu and Basilan.
But ordinarily
lawlessness as well as terrorism are not grounds for extension because they are grounds for the exercise of the President's calling power for the armed forces to repress or subdue lawlessness and terrorism. Incidentally, would you know, Mr. Secretary, what is the statutory definition of terrorism?
Do we understand terrorism? Mr. Congressman, is that terrorism is an act that causes widespread fear and panic among the population.
Okay.
So that this population can give in to their demands.
Thank you. But we could always refer to the existing law defining terrorism. Is public a ground for extension of martial law in Mindanao?
According to the it is not as per our Constitution, Mr. Congressman, but we listen to our people.
Yes, but it is not a constitutional ground for the declaration of martial law or its extension.
Under the Constitution,
under the Constitution,
the prescription
with respect to the imposition of martial law and its extension is for a limited period.
Since the original
declaration of martial law is even limited to not more than 60 days. Is that correct?
The original period of extension, Your Honor, is limited to 60 days. After that, Congress extended according to the adjusted period of time that the Congress may deem appropriate.
But the
constitutional purpose is to delimit the duration of martial law and its extension. Is that a correct interpretation or application of the Constitution?
May I be allowed to answer the question, Mr. Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Secretary.
Section 18 of Article 7 mentions a limited period of 60 days for the original declaration of martial law, but the subsequent sentence clearly states that upon initiative of the President, Congress may extend the period of effectivity of martial law for such period of time as it may deem proper. And therefore, by constitutional provision, the term of effectivity of martial law actually depends on Congress.
Well, it is, I submit, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, an inordinate aberration that extensions are longer than the original proclamation. Let us review historically what happened. Martial law was declared on May 23, 2017 for a period of 60 days, which ended on July 23, 2017 for a period of 60 days. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The first extension was from July 23, 2017 to December 31, 2017 or a period of 161 days. Is that correct?
Up to December 31 of
2017.
The year 2017, I guess that is correct, Your Honor.
The second extension was from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018. Is that correct? Consisting of 365 days or 1 year.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Considering this
consisting of 365 days or 1 year.
Original declaration and two extensions. The total duration of martial law in Mindanao, including the two extensions, would be 586 days. Is that correct?
I suppose that is correct, Your Honor.
And the total duration of the two extensions would be 526 days.
Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And again, the President is asking for another 1 year extension, and that would be almost 1,000 days. Is that correct?
That is more or less correct.
And that would be almost,
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, I think this undue prolongation of martial law in Mindanao would amount to perpetuity, considering the length of time this declaration and extension had been made. And it is an admission by the military and the police authorities that they have failed to achieve the purported objectives of martial law. Thank you for this opportunity to ask these questions.
Mr. President, Senate Majority Leader. On the part of the Senate, we'd like to recognize the distinguished lady Senator Risa Hontiveros. Senator Hontiveros is recognized. You have 3 minutes.
On the part of the Senate, we'd like to recognize the distinguished lady Senator Risa.
Senator Hontiveros is recognized. You have 3 minutes.
Salamat po, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, good Majority Leader. Mga kasama, eto na naman po tayo.
Salamat po, Mr. President.
Kung nakaka-deja vu yung briefing ng ating defense establishment sa amin kahapon, nakaka-deja vu na naman itong ating joint session. Parang nagiging Christmas tradition na po natin ito. Pero sige, unang tanong. Gentlemen, the essence of martial law is the taking over by the military of civilian functions. That's why it's a reversal of the constitutional principle of civilian supremacy. May I know exactly and factually what civilian functions have been taken over by the military? Nung pong security briefing ninyo, mga Ginoo, sa amin kahapon sa Senado, sinagot dun sa ilang mga tanong na dahil daw sa martial law, ang mga LGU natin sa Mindanao ngayon ay nagto-toe the line at na-empower na mag-gobyerno at nadadagdagan daw ang nabibigyan ng seal of good local governance sa ARM dahil din daw sa martial law. Ito na po ba ang trabaho ng Armed Forces of the Philippines ngayon? Like previous interpellators, I am disturbed that we now look to the military to police local governments and ensure discipline. Mr. President.
Mr. President, Madam Speaker, wala po kaming kinukuhang functions from the civilians. They can function normally during martial law. In fact, sila yung nasa unahan if they want to, the local officials, if they want to institute curfew, they can do it. Hindi kami nag-impose sa kanila na mag-impose silang curfew. Kaya lang, yung ating mga military and police, they establish mobile checkpoints to police those who are yung mga nagdadala ng mga baril. Now, for the seal of good governance na narinig po ninyo noon, ay palagay ko si Secretary yung makakasagot niya.
Good morning, Your Honors. Based on what's happening in Mindanao, the implementation of martial law has really provided a good tool for both the military and the Philippine National Police to do its mandate, and with the support of the local government units, particularly the local government executives. We say that during the implementation of martial law, our local chief executives are more cooperative, supportive in our campaign against the rebel groups. And in fact, the feedback from the people are very positive because now they can go around without fear of being subjected to violence by these lawless elements and rebellious group. The checkpoints, though it brought some inconvenience, but they feel more secure and safer. There were even instances when checkpoints are pulled out and the people objected. They wanted to restore back the checkpoints because they are more comfortable seeing that checkpoints all around are being implemented around Mindanao. So, in effect, we restricted the movement of the armed groups and at the same time restored order, especially in the most affected areas. Not all in Mindanao are actually affected. In fact, if you are a good citizen, you don't feel martial law at all. But if you are a lawless element, then your movements are restricted and the fear is actually on the part of these lawless elements. Your Honor.
Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, sabi po ni Sec. Anyo that martial law has provided a good tool to our armed forces and national police to fulfill their mandates. Wala na pong kasangkapan na kailangan ng AFP at PNP, kundi ang konstitusyon mismo, na meron na pong mga ordinaryo pero mas malalakas na kapangyarihan, tulad nga po ng calling out powers ng presidente. At hindi po kinakailangan ang martial law para gawin ng AFP at PNP ang kanilang mandato. Pangalawang tanong po, this administration has a record of weaponizing the crime of rebellion against its opponents. In 2017, sinabi po ng Malacanang na ang non-armed leftists ay maaaring makasuhan ng conspiracy to commit rebellion. I can very well see a situation, gentlemen, in which a case of rebellion will be filed against a political opponent. He or she will be arrested and detained, and with the privilege of the writ still suspended, he or she will not be able to, for example, campaign or participate in the electoral exercise or other political exercises. Ano pong safeguards meron tayo laban sa ganito? Is it not true, for example, as Consensya Davao has documented and communicated to us? Kaya itong sinabi ni Sec Anyo na people are very positive, the feedback, meron din pong mga negative at nagre-reklamo. Sabi po ng Consensya Davao, is it not true that 4 volunteer numeracy literacy teachers of the rural missionaries of the Philippines in Tagaloan 2, Llano del Sur went missing on November 12 this year and were found only after being detained for 18 days by the 103rd Brigade? And we've also heard documented cases of community members suspected of being rebel supporters being asked to gather in a meeting and then declared as mass surrenderies. So ano po yung mga safeguards para po hindi mangyari o magpatuloy ang mga ito, Mr. President? So ano po yung mga safeguards para po hindi mangyari at
This climate of abuses and impunity does little to inspire confidence in martial law. Your Honor, yung pong binabanggit na report ay hindi po nakarating officially sa amin. Ang kalimitan nga pong sinasagot namin, if this will be if there are complaints, then it should be filed in court, and we will of course punish kung merong mga tao na involved dito. Pero sa ngayon po, wala pong nakarating na mga official complaints tungkol dito sa alleged violation na ito.
Paalalahanan ko po yung Consensya Davao na ipaabot muli sa inyong mga tanggapan yung kanilang mga reklamo. At nagpapasalamat ako sa isa sa mga amista ko na Deputy Director General sa National Police na hiningi yung mga reklamong ito kahapon sa briefing para kanilang mabasa ulit. Pangatlong tanong, Mr. President, and actually this fear also has precedence. Hindi po ito imbento hugot sa hangin. In 1978, during the election to the interim batasang pambansa, Marcos used the broad powers of the military granted under martial law to restrain the campaign activities of the political opponents of his party, KBL, and to crack down on critics who protested against massive cheating. Paano po natin mapipigilang mangyari ito sa darating na taon na meron po tayong midterm elections, Mr. President?
Pag-aralan na lang po natin yung kaibahan ng Marcos martial law at saka yung 1973 martial law and the present martial law. I think there is a whale of difference between those two kinds of martial law.
Siguro po, Mr. President, habang nga pinag-aaralan natin ang martial law simula 1972 at yung martial law sa ngayon, mas nagmumukhang magkahawig. Mr. President, can you give us an update on the status of... Yes, Mr. Secretary. A status, please, on the rehabilitation efforts in Marawi. Yes, Mr. Secretary. A status, please, on the rehabilitation efforts in Marawi. Yes. Yes, Mr. Secretary.
Senate President, Madam Speaker, Your Honors, the overall rehabilitation of Marawi City will be completed until 31 May 2022. That is the duration of the present administration. The rehabilitation of the most affected area will be completed on December 31 of 2021. And in the rehabilitation, we envision that the Marawi rehabilitation will serve as a catalyst for growth, good governance, and peaceful environment. Today, Your Honors, the early intervention activities have been conducted since August of last year, and we are now transitioning to the actual rehabilitation by clearing the most affected area of about 8 million tons of debris, which started last month. The debris clearing will be completed by August of 2019, and henceforth all horizontal and vertical interventions will be undertaken to ensure for its completion not later than December 31 of 2021.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President, I'm about to wrap up. Salamat po para sa update na iyon. Siguro yun din yung sinasabi ng mga advocates groups na yun ang kailangan natin, yung rehabilitation, yung pagpapatuloy ng peace building, at yung higit pang magaling na law enforcement ng National Police nang may suporta ng armed forces, lalo na laban sa mga teroristang grupo na hindi kinakailangan ang martial law. Huling tanong na lang, Mr. President, at sana hindi natin lahat kailangan tanungin ulit itong mga tanong na ito sa susunod na Disyembre kapag hihingiin na naman ang extension na naman. Particular po sa May 2019 na eleksyon, ano ang napag-isipang role o mandato ng armed forces sa pangangasiwa ng eleksyon sa Mindanao? Kasi magkakaroon po tayo ng abnormal na sitwasyon. May eleksyon, pero may martial law. So, paano po yung magiging mandato ng armed forces sa panahong iyon? Mr. President.
Mr. President, Madam Speaker, we can assure the people that the military, and I think the police also, will maintain peace and order, and we want to have an orderly, peaceful, and honest election. In fact, every time the President goes to camps, he reminds soldiers to be neutral. They cannot campaign for anybody, for or against. Kasasabi na lang naman niya ng nakaraang araw na nandun kami sa San Miguel sa Scout Ranger Camp. Sinabi na naman niya yun. It's very emphatic that all we have to do is to ensure a peaceful and fair election.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Siguro kayang-kayang gawin niya ng AFP at PNP at syempre ng Commission on Elections kahit walang martial law. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Siguro kayang-kayang gawin niya ng AFP.
Majority Floor Leader.
Syempre ng Commission on Elections.
Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, on the part of the House, I move that we allow the Honorable Khalid Dimaporo for his interpellation.
Honorable Khalid Dimaporo, you have 3 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I would like to acknowledge our armed forces of the Philippines and also commend them and thank them on behalf of the province of Lanao del Norte for your accomplishments under the martial law regime. I would like to personally relay that in Mindanao, you have accomplished something that the PNP had a difficulty doing, and that is campaign against loose firearms. With the declaration of martial law in the region of Mindanao, not only the AFP, but also the PNP has been given the support needed from the national government so that we can get all of these loose firearms. What actually has happened, Mr. Speaker, is we have inched the Mindanao region closer to a gun-free society. And on the behalf of the province of Lanao del Norte, I think the Duterte administration. But I'd like to focus, Mr. Speaker, on the suspension of writ of habeas corpus and the accomplishment of our armed forces of the Philippines. Because what we want to do, or our real objective, their real objective, is to rid our country of terrorists. And what was relayed to us yesterday in the briefing, 143 terrorists have been abducted because of this advantage that our armed forces have, this suspension of the writ of habeas corpus. That was only this year. Last year, 80 have been abducted. Terrorists. Because of the suspension of writ of habeas corpus. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, there is still 180 still at large. May I have this confirmed by our resource speakers?
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker,
may I ask the DND Secretary or whoever was there in our briefing yesterday?
Confirm, Mr. President and Madam Speaker.
I want to confirm that there are still 180 terrorists still at large.
Yes, Your Honor. We're still looking for them.
I want to confirm that there's still 180
So thank you, Mr.
terrorists
Speaker.
still at
Can I
large.
just seek clarification? Because there's a possibility that these 180 terrorists are not in Mindanao. So if the objective is to
thank you,
rid our
Mr.
country
Speaker.
of
Can I just
terrorists
seek
and we have the
clarification?
advantage of
Because there's a
suspension of writ of
possibility that
habeas
these
corpus
180
in
terrorists
the
are
region
not
of
in
Mindanao,
Mindanao.
what will happen kung
So if the
tumatawag sila sa
objective is to rid our country of
City
terrorists
and the
and we have the
Visayas
advantage
region,
of suspension
Metro
of writ of
Manila and the
habeas
Luzon
corpus
region, how
in
can
the
we
region of
achieve
Mindanao,
our
what will
objective
happen kung
that these
tumatalo
terrorists
sila
will be
sa
abducted?
Cebu City and the
Your
Visayas
Honor,
region,
all these people
Metro
have
Manila and the
warrants
Luzon region.
of
How can we
arrest.
achieve
So
our objective
and they
that
are
these
covered with
terrorists will
warrants.
be
So
abducted?
wherever they are, all over the country, then we can arrest them if we found them.
Thank you for that clarification, DND Secretary. My next concern, Mr. Speaker, is in regards to the Bangsamoro or the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. It is a misunderstanding in our country that because or just because we have passed the Bangsamoro Islamic law or Bangsamoro Organic Law, that we already have peace in Mindanao. That is not true. It is not true that just because we have the plebiscite, we already have peace in Mindanao. That is not true. My personal definition of achieving peace in Mindanao, and I hope you can get our support. I will get your support, DND Secretary, is the surrender of the firearms of the Moro Islamic Liberation Forces. Ang problema dito, Madam Mr. Speaker, is now I'm being told there is a reclassification of what they will surrender. They will only surrender what was distributed to their combatants. But the personally owned firearms of the MILF combatants, they will not surrender that.
What was distributed.
Not many understand that in the peace process, the demobilization of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front comes in tranches. The first tranche will be after the plebiscite. The second tranche will be after the election in 2022. And supposedly, there will be a surrender of firearms by the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. I would like to get an answer from our incoming OPAC Secretary, the Chief of Staff, and this is my last question. Can you be very clear for us in the Mindanao region, especially in the Lanao region, will the MILF be surrendering all of the firearms under their control? Or is it going to be only partial surrender, what they have given to their combatants?
Under their control.
Mr. Speaker, may
Is it
we
going to be only
acknowledge
partial surrender
the Chief of
what they
Staff?
have given to their combatants? Mr. Speaker, may we acknowledge the Chief of Staff?
DCXL Special Coverage.
Your Honor, as we understood the agreement, there is a tranches of surrendering of firearms. And I believe it includes those personally, because it's not allowed for them to own firearms. It is really imperative for them to really surrender all the firearms, and that is what we were going to do. It is really imperative for them to fully implemented the agreement and full implementation of the BOL.
Mr. Speaker, my understanding from the good Chief of Staff is that all those firearms will be surrendered.
That's correct. That's why the martial law that we implement. It includes the private armed groups. It includes all loose firearms, and that's why, as we have seen on the record, it is unprecedented that Sulu, for the first time, they surrendered more than 12 50 caliber cruiser weapons, 4 30 caliber cruiser weapons, 2 RPG, and 4 90 RRs. So with the implementation of strict implementation of martial law, and also the future, if we have a successful ratification of the BOL, a percentage of that firearms being owned by the MILF will be minutes is up. Kindly wind up your interpellation.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Omenal is willing to give me...
He has to approach the majority floor leader. So kindly wind up your interpellation and then I will recognize the majority floor leader.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I would like to, if I will not be allowed to speak for another 3 minutes.
Majority floor leader.
May I seek clarification on my...
Okay, I now recognize Congressman Oamenal. You have additional 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. But I was also going to wind up anyways on that part. But 1, 2, 3, 10 firearms, Mr. Speaker, that's very little. The MILF boasts numbers of 80,000. And that's what we're expecting, to see tens of thousands of firearms being surrendered after we finish the plebiscite or upon the election of the Bangsa